like, what is my dream? My dream day is now. Like every day is my dream day because that's what I wrote. I get up, I drink coffee, I read, I write, and then I do the live stream show.
You're tuned in to Making It, Life as an Artist. I'm Taylor. What does it really mean to make it as an artist? Let's find out. All right, and we are live. I'm here with Kenton Hoppas. We are rocking and rolling. Okay, Kenton, so we were just talking about what you're really most excited about in your creative world right now. So why don't you dive back into that and lead us in?
Okay, I'll try to condense it and not start with I was born in Indiana. No, I do a live. I was telling Taylor, I do a live stream show on TikTok Monday through Friday. Each show is about an hour and 15 minutes long, and I do 10 of them. So, and I'm excited about trusting that show instead of trying to fill up all my spare time. And because on the days where I just do the show and fulfill orders, it's like bliss. I journaled the other day. I'll say this is why I'm excited. I journaled my dream day. You know how the manifestation thing goes around, like envision the car. I don't envision anything. I envision no home, no car. No, I don't have a car anymore. My family, they have cars. But anyway, I'm like, what is my dream? My dream day is now. Like every day is my dream day because that's what I wrote. I get up, I drink coffee, I read, I write, and then I do the live stream show. And I've just been killing myself trying to do the live stream show plus this, that, and the other. And so I am honestly excited about slowing down and just focusing on one thing.
Yeah, and so your live stream show, it feels like there's success there. And then is it like the other things that you were trying to fill in your day with other art elements, like that's like complicating things or like overstressing stressing your time, and it's not, you're also not getting the results from that you are from the live stream show? Yeah.
If I put a little bit of art and business together on it, you'll see some posts on social media. I don't know what they make. I don't know if they're full-time artists, but they talk about they seem to have big following, and they're like, this is how much time I take a day making art. And it's like 20 minutes. And they're like, this is how much time I take fulfilling orders, posting videos. And it's like 9 hours. And it's true. It's true. I'm on camera 2.5 hours, but I work 12 hours a day. And I don't technically work the whole time. I take an hour break here. I start a little later in the morning, but, I'm on the clock kind of all day. And so when I take on these other side jobs, and if I can just be really transparent, the live stream seems to just work without me coming up with any parameters. I came up with some guardrails. It just seems to be profitable and works, and it's fun, and there's a system. And it allows me to grow, and it allows me to try new things. But the side gigs that come through, as any artist knows, it's hard to set a time. There's not a system. They're all crazy, unique, different, outside of my daily routine that cut into my daily routine. So that's kind of a little bit why I'm not cutting those out. I'm just trying to let go of that fear. It's almost like I told my mom, when a dentist doesn't look for a side job, they don't wake up every morning thinking they're going to get fired. But somehow when you're an artist, you think, oh Lord, what happens if it stops selling today, So I'm always thinking, like, what do I do what's my side hustle on my side hustle? So that's, yeah.
What's my side hustle on my side hustle?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. As an artist, it's definitely, you're always kind of, you don't have a pension the same way. You don't have like a guaranteed income. It's not as easy as a standard job, but it gives you the creative freedom, and that's beautiful. Okay, why don't you give us a background on your art, and then how that led to this live stream situation that you're doing right now.
Okay, so background on my art, I drew, like most artists will say, I just drew my brains out all the time. I didn't need to sign up for an art class. I just like to make marks on paper. And I was just telling my mom, I was geeking out in 1978, second grade, when the teacher, we were learning how to draw cursive. And to learn, we had to just do this. Can you guys see that? It's just like circles.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was like, oh my gosh, it was just so much fun. It's because school is traditionally like, I also in 1977 in first grade remember staring out the window saying, oh Lord, I can't do another 11 years. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I remember thinking that. Of course, I was a good old Midwest boy, so I did it. But so I had these my art journey has been, when I got to college, I vowed to do university somewhere I could learn something that made me feel alive. And I have a degree in technical illustration. This is a short story. And I can draw your IKEA catalog, your IKEA manual. I can do that. That's what I was trained to do. And it sounds on paper awful. It was awesome, Taylor. I loved it. It wasn't just that. It wasn't 4 years of learning how to draw those technical illustrations. It was principle. It was balance. It was line weight. It was where art and commerce intersected. So I've always had a passion to draw. So over the years, I've started airbrushing businesses on bike helmets. When I first got out of college. Called that bedhead graphics. Because in 91, I stopped combing my hair. And then the short story is where art picks back up after 15 years after that. About 10, 15 years after the airbrushing business. I did it for like a year. I drew something one day. I was always drawing still on my own. But I was a bike messenger for a decade. And it was my own business. I started it because I love bicycle messengering. And I started drawing more at work. And people are like, oh my gosh, you drew this? And I'm like, yeah. And I started getting excited about drawing again. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then that led to, and so what were the drawings like at that point?
They were mostly, so you've heard of zines, right? Like a zine? Mm-hmm. They were bike messenger zines. So I was just drawing everything. I was like drawing Coffee Cart Tony, and we were making our own zines. We were cutting and pasting.
Where were you at this point?
In San Diego.
Okay.
So it was around 2005 to 2010. And I'll just hit high points. I got into film and video through someone gave me, an unhoused man gave me a camera on the street that I knew. And I started making videos. YouTube was new. So I started getting into that. Little did I know that 5-year span of full-time bicycle messenger ownership / making videos for fun led me to fall in love with film and video production, which led me to transition after a decade on the bike to a 10-year career of film and video editing.
Wow.
And so, which jumps, once again, I'm drawing that whole 10 years. I'm mastering things like sign painting. Are you familiar with like the technique of oh man, I was pinstriping on glass every night. I'm not making any money. I got no career. I got a day job where they want me to wear a tie to work. But I just started really leaning into art in my 40s. And so that led me to children's book illustration. Got an agent, have very few gigs, but I have an agent in New York with a firm. And once again, it just led me to drawing every day. I became obsessed with committing to the discipline of drawing every day. So eventually, I'm still working full-time corporate at the time, but I think in, what year is it, 2025? So 2022, I want to say. 2022. A friend said he saw what I did on skateboards, on surfboards, on everything. And he's like, you should put your stuff on TikTok. And I'm like, yeah, right. Remember, I'm old and jaded. I was 52 at the time. So I'm like, that'll never fly. I'm wasting my time. But he turned and said, 12 to 21 second videos, 3 a day until you hit 200, then call me. And this is a crazy story, but like by the third day, he called me. He goes, have you seen your channel? I'm like, nope. I don't look. I don't even know how to look. I'm seeing how many views there are. I saw some comments. Some people said they wanted to, and I was a little cynical. I said, yeah, they want to buy what I'm drawing. Sure. Because we've all been down that road, right? As an artist, you're like, you've had enough people ask that you just stop believing that they really are going to pull the trigger. So against my own better judgment, which I'm good at, I put a website up on a Sunday night. And remember, I just got on TikTok on Wednesday. And I put a website up on Sunday night, and I put 100 things that I had drawn, probably. Maybe not 100. Let's see, it was Wednesday. Oh, I filmed all my TikTok ones, so I had pictures of them. So if I'm doing 3 a day, and it's Wednesday to Sunday, so I have 15 or 20 up there. And I'll just say it took off. It right away, week number 1, sold more than I made at my video editing job. And it did this for a month, and then did this for 2 months, to where it was just like a couple $100 in sales a month. And then I went live and committed to 6 live streams a week, like every night I'm live streaming with no plan. I'm just drawing. And somewhere along that mix, I drew my name, and someone said, could you draw my name? And I'm like, sure, what's your name? And you'd be like, Taylor. And I draw whatever I want to draw. And I added your name, Taylor. And then I had to quit my job, because every single night I was just selling so many of them that my manager's like, what's going on, Kenton? You seem to not be keeping up at work. And I said, I got to quit my job, I think. She goes, okay. It was that easy. It was like, it sounds terrible to say easy, but it was that seamless. It wasn't a hard call. It was just like, you know what? I can always go back to work. I think, maybe. I've been fired. I've had a lot of jobs, Taylor. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, nice.
That was the art journey. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. So essentially there you found the platform and you dove in, and then it kind of went flat for a minute.
Yeah.
Because you didn't quite figure out, like at that point you didn't have your niche figured out exactly.
Yeah, there wasn't a niche. Yeah.
And then there was like the hook where the name element comes in, and so then like you're connecting with your viewers in a personal way that has that brings them into the mix. Yeah. And that was where it just became kind of lights out for you.
That's what changed everything, is that personal connection. And I want to state that I didn't come up with a game plan to try something new. I just was committed to drawing, and seeing where it would go. Because I don't know. I don't look at my back end on statistics and numbers and stuff, but just what seemed to happen with the channel went to 100,000 followers in 30 days. And so with that much of a rocket ship people looking at the channel, even that sounds like a lot of people, but it was only 2 videos. You get what I've observed, and I could be wrong. I would love to hear what other creators have found social media connection. One video gets millions of views. That one video creates 50,000 new subscribers, followers.
Wow.
And so what I'm trying to say is there's so much stagnation going on that you can't look to see how many followers you have, because it's kind of almost like starting new every morning you wake up, It's thousands of people worldwide, or hundreds, no matter where your channel's at, that don't really wake up and check your channel right away. It's not like they walk past your 7-Eleven every single day on the way to work. That's a different business model. So I just find the whole thing fascinating and try not to figure it out.
Yeah.
I swear I don't try to figure it out.
Yeah, it's less like having a brick and mortar 7-Eleven location. It's more like you have to go and set up your booth every single day by creating a video or a live stream. Yeah. And if you don't set it up, it's not like they're going to find it organically. No, it's not organic. And that's what's been great about the live stream, because every single day for 3.5 years, Monday through Friday that I go live, I liken it a lot to rock music or musical theater on Broadway. They're going to run that musical theater as long as they can, because every night
It's a new seats are in the butt. New seats are in the butt. New butts are in the seat. New butts are in the seat. So it is new for someone every night. And how many rock shows, how many rock concerts, or how many musicians have we discovered? I discovered Def Leppard in their 4th album, Hysteria.
Yeah.
And I was like, these guys are amazing. And then all of a sudden, they have 3 albums before this? So, you know, it's just like a journey. You can't, I don't try to figure it out. I just know that people discover you when they need to discover you and not when they don't, kind of a thing. And try to show up like a musician does, or a theater person has to do 8 shows a week.
Yeah.
So
talk to us a little bit about the experience of doing the live stream and what it's like going into it. I mean, I'm imagining there's, you know, you don't know what you're going to do. So I'm imagining there's emotional, like you're on an emotional roller coaster. You're like trusting in the process, and I mean, are there successes? Are there failures? Are there like, tell us about all that.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll wait the success and failures at the end. But so to do the live stream at first, I'll admit, I kind of just drew the same thing with everyone's name at first. And that's why I couldn't understand why it still was connecting, because people were ordering. But I'm just pulling out a sketchbook here. So this is crazy, but what informs the live stream is so here's just 2 pages in a sketchbook. And I go into coffee. Oh my word, that one was kind of phallic. It was terrible. You have to go back and look at that. So here I drew a pig for some reason.
Yeah.
So I'm never nervous when I go to Phil's Coffee or Java Hut or Ironsmith to draw. So I just fill up my sketchbook. Then I draw on my own for fun. And then from there, I get new designs that become my album. Once again, I really liken this whole live stream show to a touring musician. So I have easily, let's just say 30 designs that are part of my greatest hits. And then the show's new for everyone every night. And I tell someone, every now and then someone will push me and say, why don't you come up with new stuff every night? Why did I see you do the same design? And I just politely say the same reason Taylor Swift plays on tour that year. She plays a set list, you know? Musicians don't get on stage and, hey, Bono, let's write a new song right now, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So what I do, the way the live stream show works, is people come in the chat. It usually fills up pretty fast, about 100 to 200 people. And we call out for names, and we tell them, tell us 1 or 2 names and tell us the relationship of that name to you. And in other words, if you put Tom and Cindy, let us know husband and wife. Or if you, and you can kind of guess, but Tom and Cindy's totally different than Brooklyn and Tabitha. Dude, you know that's their kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you ask their age, and then I say to myself, what would make my heart sing if I were Brooklyn and Tabitha? What do I love to draw? I don't think, and I never ask what Brooklyn or Tabitha want, because I've just found that people will come in a little bit hot on the live stream and say, these are fictional names, but Tom and Cindy, we like crafting. And I'm like, that's great. And then I just draw whatever I want, and they're like, oh my gosh, we never saw that coming. And they'll either enjoy it and order it. So failures and successes of a live stream every night. One thing, I never thought that I'd be this nervous still going live. I do get a little bit, it takes about 15 minutes to set up the show. And I do get a little nervous before I start live, because you're walking into an unknown, you know, and you're walking into, I don't know, I'll be on, just to be totally transparent. Every time I turn the camera on, that's me showing up like a normal person to work. And I've never shown up at a job where I went home and they're like, well, we decided we're not going to pay you today. And then next day maybe we'll pay you today. Today we'll pay you double. Tomorrow we'll pay you. So you see what I'm saying? It's based on sales. So
yeah.
And I'm working on just always bringing it back to the name I'm painting at this moment has to be the most fun thing and the only thing in the world that I'm connecting to, you know? So I just try to, it sounds cliche, but my successes are when I look back at the ones I did and I'm like, oh, dude, those are awesome. Because I take a picture of all of them, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, like when there's a glare there, but whoops, I'm going the wrong way. But this is just right before the live show came on. Oh, I know this one kind of resonates with people. It's yin yang. I try to title them.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just, that success for me is when I know that, I'm never phoning it in, those names I'm painting mean something to someone, whether they can buy them or not.
Yeah.
The reality is that, once again, back to a musician, they'll write 100 songs for a 12-track album. So.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's exciting stuff, right? You're like,
Yeah.
I mean, you are a performer. You're not just making art. Like, a lot of artists can't do things in front of people. You're doing it live, performing, like staying in your, like, there's the element of presence and focus and like, yeah.
And entertainment.
Entertainment, totally.
I try to let the entertainment side just come out.
Yeah.
But I'll give you a little entertainment. Like when we get a sale, I'll ring the bell. And here's a little secret for all you viewers. When I don't get any sales, and we're pushing an hour and 7 minutes, and I've only got 2 left, I still ring the bell for myself.
There you go.
There you go, brother.
Yeah. I'll bet your body has like a natural reaction to that sound now. You're like, oh, it does. That's nice.
That's why I turned off my Shopify cha-ching. I don't know if you have Shopify.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like Shopify will make this cha-ching when you get a sale.
Yeah.
And the first month I was on TikTok, all business was going through Shopify, and I had to turn it off because I was like Pavlov's dog. Like I couldn't walk around without, is it gonna ring? Is it gonna cha-ching?
Yeah.
So now I just don't even look at sales until I'm in this garage studio, you know? Because this is where the work gets done.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Cool. Why don't you talk a little bit about your style?
Okay.
How did this all develop?
Yeah, so in the year, so up until I think what I did when I was 24 and I was doing the airbrushing on bike helmets, I definitely had a flow and I can't really describe it, but I felt a really strong airbrushing style. I would block out like 3/4 of it in green, and there were lots of positive and negative. And then a quarter of it or 1/3, 2/3 of white and green with lots of heavy black lines with my airbrush. And so I really that was the base, that was the core, that was the root of that style. Because I just have never been fascinated by traditional painting for whatever reason. And then as life went on and I stopped airbrushing and I just started drawing for fun, I realized I really loved to draw. Really, I remember consciously saying to and so then I'm 29 years old and I'm working in graphic design. I'm looking at those illustration books that they send around to advertising firms, you know, they have and I'm like, all these people have a style, a look, whether they're doing an illustration for a hot dog company or a car or shoes. People know how to connect to their style, and I just didn't know how to come up with. I didn't realize how that happened. So it wasn't until now we're gonna jump to when I was like freaking in my late 30s. So like 10 years later, I would take a moleskin into church when I used to go to church, and I would try to draw without people seeing me, and I just loved it. And then I looked over at a full-time artist that I knew named Wade Konakowski in North County here. And Wade's over there drawing in his moleskin. And I was like, right on, Wade. And I'm like, if he can do it, I can do it. And it was at that point that I realized my style was, I don't need my sketches. I think this speaks to a lot of artists. You'll do a sketch for an idea, for a paid gig, that it already crushes way harder than when you blow it up into something larger. You're like, the magic is in the sketch, and try to recreate the magic. And so I stopped trying to recreate magic and just make like these glasses. I'm not going to sell these or anything, obviously, but I'm just going to make those glasses. That's my, and it leads me to drawing them bigger and stuff. So that's where I think I honed in on my style, is that I'm not changing how I do it from the sketchbook. I'm not drawing that and then oil painting it. I'm just going to draw it bigger with different materials, you know? And what if I get rollers and house paint, and I blast out a bit like this board behind me, big black, big red, and then what if I just, you know? So that's just kind of how I've honed in on a style that I enjoy doing that hasn't become repetitive to me anyway, because I don't know how you could ever. I understand how you can get bored of some stuff and you want to try new things, but I also know that I feel as if, for me personally, I have to push myself past the boredom to stumble on the new, you know? Like, I'm not using this, I'm just using this. And that's when I started. I wish I could carry this computer around and show you some stuff, but the power cord's all like super glitchy. It would probably turn the computer off. So anyway,
That's all right. Everybody who's listening and watching should definitely go check you out on TikTok and Instagram, and we'll get to that part.
Yeah,
where they follow you. But I mean, I feel like your style that you've developed is, I mean, one thing about it is that it's so authentically you. You know, I've been following you for probably like 6 years now, when Gordon tried to introduce us, and because I had a studio next to his little bike shop, and he was friends with you, and I'm maybe from like your bike messenger days.
Yeah,
okay.
I've known Gordon since 2001, 2002.
Nice. Big shout out to Gordon. I haven't seen him in a long time, but yeah, he told me about you, and I started following you, and your style is so you. And now getting to meet you, like, we were gonna meet up for coffee, and I was gonna have you on the podcast like 4 years ago, but it just hasn't worked. And then we both like, you came up to me when I went to that networking group, the SD group, and now getting to know you a little bit, I'm like, oh, dude, it's all so in alignment. You know, I feel like your art is definitely an expression of you, and your personality is an expression of your art. So yeah, it's cool how I can definitely resonate with that style. What you just said was, the magic is in the sketch. And sometimes I almost feel like the paintings that I make are like they're like better, and they feel stronger, like with the first moves I make. And then I fully develop them, and they turn into this whole other thing. But like right off the bat, like there's just this like energy to like the beginning.
Yeah. I'm curious, because I was curious about that with you, because you do have more of a flushed out style. Like, there's a lot of stuff built that, if you haven't studied how to build to that much detail, or those fades and the shades and that almost realism to an extent more so than abstract, is that I think people should know that what you said there is so true. It's anchoring. There was another muralist that he told me, he goes, 80% of the 0 to 80, I'm worried the thing's going to fall apart. Or he goes, I don't see it yet. He goes, but 85 to 100, it locks in. And would you say that's true? Like, when you're doing a huge mural like that, it seems like you just did one in Oceanside. It was some massive sea scene.
Yeah. I mean, art like that, it definitely doesn't look like anything for quite a while. In fact, it looks like kind of a disaster.
Yes.
And there's always that first phase where I have to tell the client, like, don't worry, trust the process.
Yeah, I know.
It's going to be okay. And I don't know how it's going to happen, but it will. So
it does, yes.
We're good. Yeah, it's an adventure. Okay, so we're getting kind of close to the question section, and I'm excited to hear you throw down on these. So the question section, I ask everybody the same questions.
Okay.
So we get unique answers from everyone here. So the first question is an advice question. So a lot of the listeners here are creatives of different backgrounds and different, styles, genres, instruments, materials. And so the question is, like, what is your advice to aspiring creatives of all backgrounds, creative with a capital C?
Well, first I think of that. Do you remember who says it? I could almost Google it. Who says anyone who wants me to be I don't want to be a part. I don't want to be a club with anyone who wants me as a member.
That might be like Groucho Marx or somebody.
Okay, it's something like Groucho Marx.
I
Okay,
think so.
so with that said, it's advice to me. What I'm about to say is, my advice is, only you can learn how to move forward. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't seek tutorials. When I was doing video editing commercially, I got those jobs literally by scrapping YouTube videos, making film festival, never ever having any kind of, no one helped me how to make videos. No one. I just kind of looked on YouTube, how to edit, in fact, I won competitions and money and bikes, not much money, but couple $100 in trips. And it wasn't until I used that so my advice is keep moving forward, and whatever you're doing, don't ask what do I need to do it. Just, okay, I have a rated G show on TikTok, so I'm going to keep it rated G. Just freaking do it. And because I know it sounds stupid, but my advice is keep it small so that you can do it. Don't say to yourself, I want to be a marathoner. Say to yourself, I want to run. And what do you do to run? You literally, I can't run right now. If I wanted to start running, I would go out and walk for 1 mile and then try to run for 6 minutes. But you do it every day. That's my advice for everything all the time is because if you force yourself to do something every day, you will find out really quickly if you enjoy it, and you will find out really quickly how to find your joy. It's just, I can give you tons of farming analogies, man. You just plant seeds, and no farmer plants those seeds and says what, and tries to sell the dirt before the corn comes up. You know what I mean? You just plant those seeds, and then when they start growing, you water them, you hoe them, you till them, then you go fix all your broken equipment. You just keep doing. And I don't mean, someone asked me about this. They said, isn't desire necessary? And I'm like, no, desire for me is fear-based. I want something, art, or can be creativity, inspiration, desire, fear-based for me, maybe not for you.
As in, like, it's a fear of not having the thing that you're desiring.
If I desire something that's not that something, if I desire tonight to go live so that I can pay my bills, right away I've planted the seed of fear. I've planted the seed of expectation. I've planted lots of seeds that are hinging on an outcome that have not happened. If I say tonight, I am inspired to go live, what can I do to make tonight fun? So when I approach my day, every day, my work day through inspiration, then that's based out of love, and the outcome's out of my control. It doesn't mean to stick your head in the sand and keep inspired action while you're getting evicted. I spent 8 months unemployed doing art, and then I told my friend, I'm like, I don't know. I don't have any money. And he's like, you should get a job, dude. I'm like, okay. And I walked into Trader Joe's and I got a job. I mean, don't be an idiot. That's my advice, is like, keep it in bite-sized portions, but just do it. I think so. If you're not taking action on something you enjoy, then you're thinking about it. And that's going to kill the cat every time, Just thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, like
For me. For me.
Yeah. I mean, that's great advice. And I feel like daily action, like doing something small every day, that's how you build up momentum, and you build up progress, and you build up, friction that will then create a spark somewhere. And
spark turns into a little flame, turns
Yeah.
into a campfire.
yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, in your story that you told, like throughout the whole time, you drew continuously and you drew daily.
Yeah.
And especially with like a creative spark and a fire, especially at the beginning of someone's journey, like that flame can go out pretty easily.
Yeah.
And so tending to it daily and just like fanning that little ember is like really, really important.
Yeah, because I found it's easy to just hear the part of the story where I got on TikTok and 100,000 followers in 30 days. But prior to that was 10 years of me drawing every day, inspired. Why? 10 years while I worked full-time corporate job, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Trader Joe's, and I just worked to pay my bills, because there's nothing better than unattachment to an outcome when you're creating art. I mean, it's great to get paid, but that freedom of play. So
Yeah. Well, and that's where a lot of really great creativity comes out, is a space of non-attachment. Because if you're, like you said, if you're in fear that you're not going to make money from it, then like that's what you're focusing on. And I've been doing these little art fairs recently, and and having art shows. It's really, in the past I've had tried to manifest sales.
Yeah.
And go into it like, all right, I'm gonna sell this many paintings, or I'm gonna sell this much art, or whatever. Most of the time, it didn't work out the way I wanted to in those experiences. And then there have been certain ones where I've been pleasantly surprised. But in those ones, I feel like what I've really been focusing on to have a successful experience is to focus on the things that you can control.
Yeah.
And that is showing up as your best version of yourself, being present to everybody and everything, doing your best, like continuously showing up to draw or paint or whatever. Like those daily things, those are things that you can affect.
Yeah.
And outside of that, like you can't control them.
I saw, can I ask you a question about
Sure.
that? Because I saw some posts, it seemed like you were at an art fair, and would you have had shoes there? Would you have been painting shoes live at an art fair?
Was that last weekend?
It seems like I saw something where you were out in public and you were.
Yeah.
So
that was at a live like dance festival thing.
Okay.
Going on.
Okay. I don't want to get sidetracked, but let me know if we need to talk about this later, because I don't know if you go back and edit this. But what's came to mind when we were talking about this is what I've observed is it's like the Steve Martin and Martin Short film Father of the Bride, where Martin Short walks in and he goes, it's fabulous, we change everything. And what makes me think of art is people look at work and they're like, which is where the music thing falls apart for me, my connection. This art's amazing. Now, can you do something totally different than... Then and no one listens to a band and thinks, I'll just keep listening because eventually they'll start playing country music. I know it's Metallica, but eventually they've got to stop playing this awful Metallica. I don't know. That's just I'm going off on a tangent. Gets back on track. It's not a frustration anymore. It used to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you hone in on your style and who you are. That doesn't bother you anymore. It just makes me laugh. That's all. So.
Yeah, and it's a reflection of the person who's saying it too.
Yeah,
it's not that's something I've definitely run into a lot of comments like that through time in different situations. Yeah, it's easy to take offense, but then you also have to realize it's just people. And everyone's got their different perspectives on art, and they have their own backgrounds and everything. It's just people are people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God bless them.
Oh yeah, love them. All right, next question. Here, this is a little manifesting here, since we're on the topic of that. in an ideal world, everything goes exactly as you want it to go.
Yeah.
You can have anything you want, basically. What does your art life, creative career, and work look like in 5 years from now?
Okay. It's super dangerous, of course, to for me, I think, to even think about what I want, because probably to the day I die, I feel like I'm the toddler telling daddy I want candy bars and ice cream every day for dinner. It's not that you can't have candy bars and ice cream. It's good stuff. But I already know, because I wrote out my dream day. And the only thing that's different than my life in my dream day right now than it is right now, so when I think 5 years, is to have people to work with. And I don't say, I want to use the term work for me loosely, because I'm exhausted and at my, I do everything. You know, I film the video, I edit the videos, I fulfill the orders, I do everything. And in too small of a studio space to even bring in someone to help me. But like, my dream future is, it's like when I ran the messenger company and got wiped out with orders. I just was too busy to do all of them all over town. When I brought in, it was scary to bring someone else in to be the face of the company too, but it was awesome, Taylor. Like, the energy of, I'll say, employee that aligns with, like, they don't have to change it all. They don't have to change it all. In fact, their flavors, it's like I'm just a boring old hamburger. And then you bring in an employee and he's like freaking barbecue sauce or ketchup. You're like, woohoo, this is cool. And then you bring in other people, start working for you. And then all of a sudden you're having parties after work and everyone in town's flowing. But yet you're still maintaining who you are. And so for art, for me, is to, I hope that I will allow this to unfold, but to bring in someone that can blow my mind when it comes to video, you know, and like give me a new look on that. To get, you don't even, have you live streamed?
Mm-mm.
Okay. That is easy to just turn on the camera, but there's a lot, there can be a lot to it. You can complicate it, and as you grow in the live streaming platform, it's like my friend says, he hires someone to help him like build fences and do yard work. And he goes, it's not that I need that person 100% of the 6 hours they're over. He goes, but when I've got my goats here and I'm trying to trim their nails, and he has goats, and he goes, I need the guy I'm paying to help me to hand me the you know, it's like that extra hand. So that's it. It's really simple. It's just like a team finding me and me finding them, where they're not showing up just for an exchange of a monetary exchange. Like they are on fire to bring their A game to where we're making something, the synergy. 1 + 1 is 3.
Yeah, totally.
And I, you know, I'm just a one-man show, so it would be a slower process. Or just have YouTube give me $1 million and they send a team down and we do a show. So I'm good with that too. So whatever works.
Yeah. All right. No, that's cool. I like the synergy idea of, the cool thing is that like content creators, yeah, when they link up, they can maximize. And like you said, it's more than just addition. It can be multiplication. And, you know, people shooting video need something interesting to shoot.
Yes.
And you're creating something interesting every single time, no matter what.
Yeah.
And like, you know, that's a nice little collaboration. So it seems like, you know, a lot of videographers are already established and they're doing their thing, but it seems like there are also a lot of videographers who are looking for their opportunity.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just linked up with some videographers to help me produce this podcast and create videos of my murals and whatnot. And it's a nice little symbiotic relationship at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even the littlest of things, like today, I love to ride my bicycle with all my shipping every day to the UPS, and it's fun. But at some point, having that taken off my plate would save some time, you know. So
yeah, totally. Because as you go along, I mean, especially if you increase the volume of your sales by like 2 or 3 times,
yeah,
Like, you're not going to have time for that.
Yeah, just kind of, yeah.
Do you sell prints of your art?
And well, that's funny. I think people that watch this, they hear the word prints and original, and it's like saying oranges and apples. They're totally different, right?
Yeah.
I for whatever reason, I do notice people get confused on the channel, the live streams across the board, the difference between a print and an original. And I do sell prints. So like about a year and a half ago, someone said to me, I only sold the original, and they're $160 now, $160. They're 24 by 30. That's it. It's done. I keep it. You don't buy it. Eventually gets recycled. But someone said, I want to watch you draw it big, but smaller, because they're big. 24 by 30, people don't know. They get it, and they're like, holy cow, Kenton, it's way bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
So I went all in, and a little more information than everyone needs to know. A professional, like 12 cartridge Canon, 24-inch wide commercial printer is $3,500. And I'm like, I can do that. I didn't realize to fill up all the ink tanks is $3,500.
Oh.
Yeah. But because of the type of work I do, those ink has lasted over a year, and I'm still not. Yeah, they're going to last a long time. Long story short, I got that so that I could fulfill print orders too. I do have prints offered on the website, but I mean, I probably don't sell $1,000 in print a year. So I use that printer creatively for other aspects of work every day. And so it's kind of, in hindsight, I bought it thinking I would just fulfill my print orders in-house, because it drove me nuts not having control over that and not being able to package it beautifully. I just wanted control over the front. It's, custom art, even a print. So, and so I do use the printer for people who don't want the big one and they just want to pay like $110 for a 16 by 20. And then I use it to, like I said, I have a 40, 50, 60 prints on the website that people can order prints. So they come in every now and then,
Yeah.
I'm glad I bought the printer.
Yeah, totally. And it's nice to offer prints. Yeah, as of now, I haven't sold a ton of prints. Feels like people in general just really love the concept of an original.
Oh, yeah.
And,
yeah.
And it is really nice. And an original just has a special energy to it.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
Well, from a business aspect, what I found is I did an original job for $600, $700, $800. It was 4 24 by 24s, which is not a lot of money, but once again, I just felt like it was a good mix for me. And then what I did was I shipped the originals to him in Florida, and then I put all those four individual ones as a group, a family, for $150. And I don't know, 2 or 3 sold, so there's another $450 on top. It's a way for me, because I'm not an artist yet that has a design that I'll do a limited edition run and it'll sell out. Now I could say that I'm sliding like bars of gold in and then people aren't going to order the print. They like the original. they want the original. So
yeah. Seems like there's a whole other level to it. I've got some ideas. I'll talk to you about it after this, but I've got some ideas for how to launch limited edition prints, and the viewers, they can learn about it when I launch them.
Yes.
And when you launch them too, we can test it out. But yeah, it's like you got to have a game plan with prints. It seems like they don't just like sell.
No. And I don't have a game plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk game plans. Okay. The final question of the question section here is, Kenton Hoppas, what is your definition of art?
Ooh, I love this because, viewers, write down the name Jeremy Wright, because we talk about this. Art, I'll make it a short version of our conversation. He goes, I don't like to use the word art because art is like, if you say, I love to, and then fill in the blank, I love to hike, or I love donuts, or I love number 2 pencils, or I love pennies. You see, like, depending on the object, there's a different relationship with the word love. So for art, did you say my definition? My
Yeah.
definition of art is, to me, my definition of art doesn't have to do, well, it has to do with the creator and the viewer, and it's just always personal. Art is something that creates joy in me to give or to receive. And to give is to do it. And to just, even if I'm just sharing it with myself or sharing it with someone else, like the sketchbook, I will have every bit as much joy and consider every line in that sketchbook. Maybe I don't consider every line, but there are a lot of lines I consider that's art. That's art. When you see a little kid painting, we don't tell little Timmy at 3 that his finger painting's not art. Because to me, my definition of art is play. I think art and play are almost synonymous because sports can be art. Everything can be very artful. And then on the receiver aspect, I think this is every bit as important. I cannot create the kind of joy with my guitar, with my banjo, with my harmonicas, with my keyboards. I don't even come close to creating art. I create a little bit of joy, but I will listen to someone else's song and tears will be pouring down my eyes. They have created something that elicited a reaction, an emotional reaction in me that makes me a better person. You know, that makes me glad I'm alive. And that's art in my book. And I like both. I like to be the receiver and the giver. Art's like making love, Taylor.
Is that G-rated still?
I slipped that one in there because you could that's a tough G-rated because mom and dad, if they're 4-year-olds on the live stream, they won't even know what that means. So
That's true. That's
making
true.
love, Tom's like when mommy and daddy hug each other. Oh, okay, right on.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that.
When two people love each other very, very much.
Very much. They make 3. So.
And that's art, baby.
And that's art. That's art. We just found it there.
That's right. Nice. All right, I like that. Yeah, it's like an exchange of love. And it's the person creating the art. There's the creation process, and that's an act of love. And then receiving it and like viewing it, you're absorbing it, you're witnessing that action. Yeah, and you're a better person. We're all better for it.
Yeah.
Or we can be, yeah.
And it doesn't need to be universal. Like, you don't need to look at one thing and say, that's art for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Because there's different kinds of everything that people are into. And that's the beauty of it is like different artists resonate at different frequencies and different people do too. So they're going to pick up on certain frequencies.
Different art, yeah.
Have their radio dials tuned to different channels.
Totally.
Yeah. What so like okay, so you just talked about art that moves you and or like music that has brought you to tears. Talk about like your art and like the movingness of that for you and like the connections that you felt with people. Since we're on the topic of making love through art.
At some point, my friend Jeremy also said, he goes, I noticed in your life and in your art, there's a lot of movement because I don't have a lot of coverage. Like this is a commission and that board's for me. So I build up layers and colors and stuff a little bit more. For the most part, I just have line art. I'm just a line artist. But even with stagnant images, I like to make a tear drip to create movement. Like I like to really, I just check out my work because it's just bobbleheads with 2 eyes. There's no nose, there's no mouth, but I just try to create that connection with those eyes and a bird, those eyes and another person. You know what I mean? So it's that movement. And so with that movement is connection number 1. And connection number 2 is, when I know I'm painting names for someone else on a live stream show, I truly channel back to those 2-3 years where I was studying lettering design, and I break all the rules of a sign painter, but this isn't sign painting. But I also anchor in a lot of the foundation of good lettering. I make it look like I'm building a house with bricks with their names. You know what I mean? Like, there's no rhyme or reason why they're going like this to them, but that's what I strive to create a connection. And is that something that they can connect to without knowing why or how? I don't need to know that Eddie Vedder hit the G minor, and that's what just made me lose it. You know what I mean? He knows how to do it. He does his thing. So that's what I definitely, whether they connect with it, I don't know. But I know that I can make something that is connected on a plane that you can't put words to.
Yeah. And you're connecting with it in the process of creating it. And that's the art phase number one.
Yeah.
And I someone said once, I don't know who, but that like it's really important to, they told, I heard this from somebody, that it's really important to do your best to remember people's names, because people's names are like the first thing that they really learned, and it's their title, and it's like the ownership of them as a person, like their personhood in this world, you know. It's like a unique thing to them, and so it's really special. So it's interesting that you have people's names as like this built-in feature of the live stream element. And so you're taking your time to like pour your love into the creation of their name with your expertise and skill behind it. And like, that's their moment where they're receiving this gift of like the art of their name. Yeah.
And it's funny that you bring that up, because I struggle, not in a bad struggle, but like my mind's every now and then, like sometimes I feel as if I could just do their names and nothing else. But then at the end of the day, then that's just 100% there. It's not a win-win. I'm just drawing their names. The win is that they don't have any say in what the image is going to be, and it's melding the two creates a win-win for me. But I do wonder sometimes, should I start the name first or the image first? Because you can't do both at the same time. Yeah. So anyway, it's interesting.
Yeah, it is. I agree. Okay, cool. Well, that was our question section. So why don't you tell everybody where they can find your art, where they can follow you, where they can find your live streams and your videos and all that good stuff.
I feel like I should write it on a piece of paper and hold it up, but Kenton Hoppas. Let me see if, what's my favorite? Where's my favorite thing? Maybe this will get blurry if it's in the camera. Kenton Hoppas. I like to say it and show it. Does that come up pretty good?
Yeah.
That's pretty legible.
Yeah.
We'll go in the middle. Oh, it's in the middle of the screen. There we go. That's in the middle. Kenton Hoppas.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we have done everything under the sun to try to make like the purchasing process, the communication process. But humans, I'm still convinced humans, we don't like to read or pay attention or read just tell me what to do or send me a letter in the mail. I'll read it then. But yeah, so Kenton Hoppas. I say the reason I did those stickers is because I'm Kenton Hoppas everywhere. Kenton Hoppas at TikTok, Kenton Hoppas at YouTube, KentonHoppas.com, Kenton Hoppas at Instagram. And so it's just easier, Kenton Hoppas at Gmail. So it's just easier to make that sticker. So
sounds good. All right, we'll get it out to the people. Write it down. It'll be in the show notes too.
Okay.
So,
show notes.
Show notes, you know. Okay, cool. So, all right, that's the end of part one. So we're going to take a little break. Now, I like to exit part one by asking the guest for a little bit of off-the-cuff wisdom. So this can be about anything you want.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be art-related, just like first bit of wisdom that comes to your head or heart. First
thing that came to my head and heart is take time to read books. Like, that's the very first thing that came to mind. For some reason, I didn't think I liked to read. Maybe it's because I had terribly low SAT scores on my English, you know, coming out of high school. And maybe it's because I got a D in Latin. And I just didn't think I could handle reading the classics. And so in my late 20s, early 30s, I started reading all the classics. Les Mis, Hunchback, You name the classics, just the classics. And I'm like, they're classics because even a goofball like me, I get it. Like, you don't have to. It wasn't like Latin. It was so much easier than Latin. That's it. Read. Because whatever you start with will lead to the next thing. And a friend read all the time in college. And so one time we were all living together in the summer. We're like, if he can read 2 books at a time and do 10 in a summer, we all set a goal to read 1 book that summer. And it changed all our lives. Reading to me is just the best.
All right.
That's my off the cuff.
All right. That's great. That's great advice. I love reading. I don't have as much time to read as I would like. I listen to books all the time.
Okay.
When I'm muraling. So I'm just taking books and like going like that and squeezing them in my ears. But yeah, it's very valuable.
I like that visual, squeezing books in your ears.
Yeah, I just go like this and I go, and then it's in there and then I shake it up and it stays, I think. So.
Okay.
All right, cool. We'll take a quick break and be right back. Inspired? Your support means a lot to me. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your pods, share with other artists, and let's keep the creativity flowing. And we're back. Kenton, how you feeling?
Good.
Yeah? Do you feel any nerves going into this?
No. This kind of stuff is fun. It's like just coffee talk, you know what I mean? I just try not to say anything too stupid, although that leads me to some advice. Don't over-edit your stuff because stupid stuff can sometimes push your content out like crazy, like wildfire. And I don't say stupid things on purpose, but I remember how I just said something about seats and butts or butts and seats, or I accidentally said something like that, like I screwed up a saying, and I never go back and rewatch my videos before I upload them. They're shorts. They're a minute, you know? And that sucker went to 17 million views because it fueled so much. I said you can't be lost if you don't know where you're going, and everyone's like, that's the definition of being lost! But I was drawing art. I was doing my work while I was doing it. So the two worked really great together. There's no bad press, Taylor. There is no bad press.
Just let it rip.
What it did is it allowed a lot of people to see the work I do, and then they don't care whether what I said. They're like, I'm gonna order a picture, you know. So
yeah, nice. And also, people get to see a human side of you. Yeah, and that's
keep the bar low.
Keep the bar low. Well, I mean, everybody makes mistakes, and I think it's nice to see that we all do, and it's a humanizing element, and that's cool.
I think that's what I like about social media is because we don't come into social media with the same, like, Hollywood, like, we don't take 7 takes to make it perfect, to get it edited. We're just talking, you know, sharing.
Yeah, it does lower the bar. It makes it, because before social media, there was this like gatekeeper element in like Hollywood, and there was like, they are like this, whereas we are all like this.
Hollywood now, TV shows, everything. Scripted,
perfected, everybody's like the best at what they do, and so now it's just like free flow. Okay, the thing I was going to throw at you just to start out part 2 was I was going to have you tell us about your new venture. We talked and you asked about canvas, or we got on this conversation about canvas, and I've been painting on these prime canvases, and then you got some, and now you're like playing around in that, and like tell us about that.
Let me push this board back because it's not done, and it's sketchy to show people stuff when it's not done, right? But I can push this away. You can see a little bit more of it. It's when I love it because I do get, I'm not saying I always connect with the budget. The budget might be a disconnect for projects, but if someone can meet me somewhere in the ballpark of what I need and what they need, create a win-win. Creating on these large canvases, it's exciting, it's fun, you know, because it's like somewhere in between. I don't know that I want to tackle one of these every day, but it's something in between like what you do on these huge, like muralists will often think 15 by 10 wall, that's not very big. But so it's somewhere between a 10 and 15 foot wall that I can just, and this is 5 by 5, you know? So to me, it's a great bite size because I can't knock this out in one day. I did this much in one day, but I need another day or two to finish it, you know? So yeah, it's just fun to try new, not style, but like my style on different things. So yeah, I love it.
Dude, it's awesome. It looks super cool. I haven't seen you do the different color sections in this way before. Yeah,
well, this is for, what I'm finding is I don't like to intersect my colors. This is for K through 4th graders. Nice. A teacher commissioned this, so we're instilling art concepts without beating them over their head. So shapes, line, difference, variations. I'll add patterns. I have the primaries and secondaries.
Nice.
Here, which I love. I love going to Home Depot and picking out paint. I love it.
It's
because I don't go straight up orange. I'll go like Pixie Flurry Snuggle Buggle. You know, they have those crazy names for them.
Yeah.
Weeping Willow Green. You know. Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, I've been having so much fun with loose primed canvas. Like,
yeah.
It feels very freeing because you can cut it to any size you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can hang it right on the wall. You can kind of do anything you want with it. It's like a choose your own adventure.
Well, now this guy's going to, stretch it on a wood frame. But if I were to take this off the wall, I mean, now that it's all done, you can't see any wrinkles. I just taped it to the wall. Did you say you staple? What are other creative ways to hang something like that?
Yeah, I'll staple it, or I will use push pins.
Yes.
And I'll kind of stretch it like a canvas. Like I'll start with a couple on the top, and then I'll go, I'll tack a few on the top, and then tack one and kind of pull it down, and then tack it, and then pull it across the center and do it again there and there.
Yeah.
And then bop, like out from the centers out towards the corners so that it's as flat as it can be.
Okay, that's good to know because that's kind of how I tackled this.
Yeah.
I put tape up top, and then I started pulling it over and putting more tape, then taking the other tape off, and I just kind of, it's like putting a screen cover on your phone.
Yeah.
Constantly put it.
Yeah, exactly. You just want to smooth it out from the sides, and it's really nice. And then at the end of it, like what I've been liking is I can do a painting and then I can roll it back up. And it's a lot easier to store rolled canvas than it is to store stretched canvases on frames. They just take up a lot more space and you have to be a lot more careful with them. And, it's been a fun, like freeing experience with painting.
And they're easier to ship too. Like I'll be able to just roll this up and ship it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You think you're going to keep going with, you have more canvas, right?
Yeah, I have more canvas. Not a ton. I didn't order a ton. I wanted this to be, I ordered enough to mess up on one, which I already did. I cut it too small. So this was go time. And I mean, it's not expensive. So I think I would like to do another one. However, as we know, we could just be happy little boys and paint and draw all day. But at the end of the day, I already have too much stuff piling. I have 8 canvases in my bedroom that are stretched on wood that haven't sold. I have to walk through on my way out the door every day. So yeah, it's one of those things. We'll see.
Yeah.
If the opportunity, I guess I'll say yes to it. I'm going to push this as an option for people.
Yeah, I mean, it looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And
and I should encourage people to use push pans because I went down this route a year or two ago, and I encouraged people to let me put grommets in it, and that freaked people out. Like that, I felt they wouldn't say it, but like, ugh, no grommets. And I have a feeling they were just seeing grommets as destroying the integrity of the piece. When I looked at it as like, well, grommets make it easy for you to hang, because I grommeted a bunch of canvas and hung it in my room just as a test.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah. One thing that I do with the canvas on the wall is I will draw lines that are 4 inches in from the outside, and I'll snap lines, and then my painting will exist within those 4 inches. That way, and like I feel like with that you could grommet the outside edges, and you could either hang it on the wall like that, or you could wrap the canvas and like stretch it on a frame. And you got 4 inches to work with on both sides. Yeah. On all sides. So then you're not actually like cutting into the actual art itself.
Yeah. This one has 1 inch. You can't see it here, but it has 1 inch of tape. I made sure the tape was 1 inch over. And then he'll have an inch. It'll have two. He's going around a frame. So he has 2.5 inches all the way around. So the art should wrap around the frame.
Yeah, which is awesome. When you have a side there.
Yeah. In fact, when I take that tape off, I'm probably going to put some dots and lines all the way around it, just so the 100%, when it wraps, there's art that goes all the way around.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right. Question that's totally off the wall, but what do you feel like you personally get from the time and energy that you put in, that you are painting, or that you are drawing and painting?
What do I get?
What is the addition to your life as a whole?
Kind of have to go backwards on that question. When I got out of college, I knew I had to get a job. Well, I have to. I could have lived at home, but that wasn't going to happen. I knew I wanted to work so I could create some autonomy, and jobs are great. I'm not dissing a job, but I never found a niche or a work scenario that created joy. Like I didn't feel like I was bringing whoever Kenton was to the table. I was literally I felt like a human robot. I was just fulfilling a task that needed to be done, that anyone could have done, that 10 people were waiting in line to do. And so to do art full time through this live stream show, it kind of creates purpose. It's very rigid and like a job. Like it's kind of like Price is Right. I liken it to a touring rock musician, but it's more like Price is Right, because I'm going every day, Monday through Friday, year round. Whereas rock, they tour for 36 weeks and get 2 months off. So anyway, yeah, I would say I get a lot from it, from having the locked in schedule. So it creates consistency. Sales ebb and flow, but yeah, it still creates consistency, and then allows me to just play, explore, try new things, within the parameters that the show's built on. And it gives me time to like when I take time off of work, I never have to ask anyone.
Yeah, totally.
And I don't even think about the money. I just think if I need someone, and I don't take willy-nilly vacations, but an example would be, like a friend's mom died, and a really, really close friend of mine. And to take a week off and go to New Mexico to spend with him and to be there for the memorial that's priceless, Like, I don't even think about lost income. I don't think about anything. I'm there, I'm not on vacation. I'm just living life.
Yeah. Yeah, and you said that having other jobs, you didn't feel like it was you.
Yeah.
But when you're making art, do you feel like that is you?
It's 100% me. And it's weird. I say it's 100% me. I feel like I'm able to be I'm able to be my authentic self. That doesn't mean I don't second guess. Sometimes I look at the work I do and I don't think it's like sometimes I look at it and I'm like, I love it so much. But then I think, but it's so simple and silly. Why? What? Where's the value in that? And I just remind myself that it's an opportunity for me to grow too. Love myself, and because it's connecting with people, and or they want to order, and so it allows me to. It does take two to create this art. It takes people's names, and because if I do 30 names in a show and just a few order, you know, I'm doing a lot of names that aren't ordering that I'm still connecting with those people too. So it allows me to be me. Whereas a lot of the jobs, like I was saying, I didn't feel like it. I felt like I was being suppressed in the jobs. I even had a job one time where I was told not to talk with clients because someone above me was bringing in. Oh, I'll tell you, stories are always better than feelings. I was working for PepsiCo, and I'd always go into these big money meetings about the video. It was about the video that we were producing for them. We were a subcontractor for PepsiCo, the big Pepsi brand, and we're doing a video for them. And I'm the video editor, so I have to sit in, and the producer. I have to sit in on the video of the meeting, but I'm not allowed to talk. And because I'm not a manager, I'm not the owner, I'm not a bigwig, and I'm told specifically, you don't talk. And I'm like, okay, so I'm just drawing. And finally, everyone's talking. And you got to remember, no one's working on this video but me and my crew. And I'm the only one in there. And so I'm like, wow, this is a bunch of people talking about a house should be built, but the builders don't have a say, you know? And finally, I just flipped out. I got in trouble a lot at that job. But I'm like, I don't remember his name, but he was my lead. He was the guy in the corporation we were making the video specifically for, and we'll call him Brian. And I'm like, Brian, what do you want the video to do for you? What's your result? He's like, I want Pepsi to give me $80 million for this new program. And I'm like, that's all I need to know. And I stood up and walked out, you know? I'm like, dude, we're going to do, then that's, now I know how to conduct interviews. Now I know how to edit the video. And these aren't sexy videos. These are talking head videos with sexy B-roll on how a company can use their money to be more efficient, to meet new you know, I mean, it wasn't about money. It was just like everyone's job. Like, we just want to do our job better. We're not getting greedy. It wasn't a greedy. Yeah. And that's about the only time in work that I felt like I was able to be me. But I just always felt so cuffed. Cuffed, restrained. So this is less restraining for sure.
Yeah, totally. It's cool when you feel that lack of restraint, you know, when you can feel like you're just like free. Yeah. There's different types of art that I've done for different projects, and the hat that I wear for that type of art, you know, it varies. And the ones where I'm like, me as a muralist, I feel like that's very much me.
Yeah.
Like, whereas I was doing this thing called live wedding art for a while.
Ooh,
and
okay.
It was cool, but I felt like I had to like dress up a certain way, and I had to like kind of do this shtick, and it wasn't quite me. And that's part of how I know that murals is like a thing that I really love, is that is because it allows me to feel the most like me out of everything.
And well, talk to me, like when you're approached or pitch a mural job or however they come about, do you feel like, I don't want it to be a yes or no question, but like, how does that process go? Do you just, because you have to pitch sketches and stuff like that, like what's the best part of that process of doing murals for you? Like, what's the most exciting aspect of the thing?
The most exciting part of doing murals, well, they're better when they're more trusting of me, and they, like, some people are more trusting in the creative process and me as an artist in general, and then some projects people don't. They're more like concerned about what's going to happen, or they're more controlling over that outcome, or they maybe don't. They don't trust me as much. But it's the most fun when they're like, "You're the expert. Let's do this. Show me. Like, just go for it, and we can go from there."
Yeah.
And I mean, the back and forth with me and my clients is like, can be really fun if the client has like an open-minded, collaborative like feeling to it, and that's super fun.
Yeah.
And then the painting. Yeah, there's certain clients that want the painting to be exactly like the mock-up.
Interesting.
And that can feel restricting, and it's more of like it needs to be like this or else it's wrong. Yeah, but then other ones are like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is art, so go for it. And like,
Yeah.
I like to get it. Those are really fun where I get to just freestyle more and go off.
Yeah, I've only done a couple murals, but I've never had any restriction to where a sketch had to look anything like that. But I imagine that some, and understandably, I understand where they're coming from. They want it to be like what they saw it, and
Right.
that could create some more tension or adventure.
Yeah, totally. When the more like corporate it is, the more like if you're doing it for like a company that has like a board or something,
Yeah.
if multiple people are weighing in on things, then it gets challenging.
Yeah.
When it's like one person that you're working through, it's a
Yeah.
lot easier because then it can be a human on human like experience.
Well, riddle me this. Talk to me. What's your process for your mural career? Like, how has it? Do you seek out, or do you just wait for word of mouth? This one guy, something Brown. I can't think of his first name. He worked with Skywalker down here on something. Yeah, he goes, I probably should reach out to people, but he just lets it unfold one mural to the next. But what about you? What's your kind of like workflow?
I definitely have gone after it. There's a website called Thumbtack.
Oh, I've heard of it.
That's one place where I've had a profile, and I've gotten a lot of jobs through that. It's not perfect. It's very frustrating. There's a lot of like conversations that you have that you pay for that don't amount to anything.
Yeah.
And then I've got my website, and then I just like build community around myself and like where I'm at, in Carlsbad and in the Bay Area, and I just like build and grow that way. But sometimes it doesn't happen that way, so I do have to go after it because I need income to happen to pay bills and live life. So yeah, I've been really leaning into networking groups similar to like SD group.
Yeah.
And then I joined the Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce, and then I've been getting in on all these meetings in Oceanside, and just like this year I'm really trying to get to know people and have people get to know me.
It seems like Oceanside has a lot going on in that, and a lot going on, period. And, I think that's what I've found is, oh, man, I'm embarrassed how cocky I was. I was partly just trying to be funny, but I was kind of cocky coming out of college my last semester. People are like, what are you going to do? I'm like, it's not what you know, it's who you know, bro. And they're all applying for jobs. And I didn't know anyone. But I just thought it was a cool saying, I'm like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But I've found that when you mix putting yourself out there, something comes in through the back door. Like I was looking for swim coaching jobs out of college. I wanted to be a swim coach. I wanted to see what it was like to be a full-time swim coach, and for an age group team. And I swam in college, so I had that background. And I was applying professionally, organized wise. I was putting myself out there, not getting any jobs, not getting any interviews. And then the phone rings after a month or two, and my old swim coach from high school got me a job in Scottsdale, Arizona. And it's not what you know, it's who you know, but it is what you know too. So it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's who you know first, but it's who you know because of what you know. So I don't know. I think it's interesting.
No, it definitely is. It's a combination of both. I mean, I think you have to push forward, like okay, for me in my life, I have to push forward in all directions kind of all at the same time.
Yeah.
Murals, I need a constant flow. And like you said, I don't know if I'm going to have a mural right now. I don't know if I'm going to have a mural in 2 months. But I always do. And I have for 10 years.
Yeah.
But I don't know right now. And so there is that uncertainty. So there's a fire under me to continue to meet, to push in all the directions, to network, to go to these meetings, to meet people, to post on Instagram, to post online, to just keep on going, because and keep on evolving, because if you just sit there, like, maybe things won't happen.
Yeah.
And I can't like go to sleep knowing that I didn't try.
Yeah,
You know, and that, like, you gotta
keep
go.
going.
Yeah.
Keep going. I don't have to go. I'm listening. I want to show you guys something. I don't know if you even use this part of the interview, but I'm going to push something out of the way here real quick. Makes me think of you said for 10 years you've had, like, you don't know in 2 months, but in 10, so see if we can, I'm going to turn this hopefully. Okay. You see these boxes? This one's almost empty, but there's another box of tubes there.
Yeah.
And when I first started shipping stuff for TikTok, I bought my tubes one at a time, and they're like super expensive to buy them one at a time.
Yeah.
And, but I was terrified. I didn't know. And these only come in, like, at the time I only get boxes of 25, and I was terrified if I bought a box of 25, sales would stop. I had to ship one more and have 24 empty tubes. Yeah, I've bought like 4,000 tubes.
Totally.
and I'm not scared anymore to buy
Yeah.
tubes.
Yeah.
Like, you get to the point where you're like, even if I buy tubes and it stops, well, I'm only going to have 50 tubes.
Yeah. And you gotta just bet on yourself and just keep leaning in and, you know, envision landing the plane. Like, it's gonna keep, you're gonna do it, and you're gonna keep going for it, and it is what it is.
Okay, which brings me to my next question. If the plane's going down, I think of this every time I fly. If the plane's going down and they ask anyone, like, both pilots have passed out, they're asleep, or we'll just say they're okay, but they're just asleep. They fall, and they need someone to land the plane. Would you put your hand up?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, totally. Let's give it a try. Although I've heard that it's way harder than you would think.
Oh, I know it is, but I still want to be the guy. You know?
I heard something that where people get they ask this as an interview question, like, just out on the streets, and like, you know, everyone says that they think they could land the plane, and then they ask pilots, and pilots are like, no, you have no idea, like, all the gadgets and the buttons and the this and the that. But maybe you got AI helping you out, you know? You just ask,
maybe you
ask.
do. Yeah, and I know it's harder than it looks because, like, a Cessna 152, like a little two-seater, is probably more manageable than like a commercial jet.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of friends in my 20s who were Marine fighter pilots, and I was in the Irvine area, and I'm trying to think of the name. It starts with a T. There's a base up there. They do a lot of flying out of there, and I was living up in that area, and they took me into a simulator. It was like a mini theater, and we got to stand in the back and watch a pilot, a huge screen, and they're simulating. It's like a big video game, landing on an aircraft carrier, and the carrier looks like a dot in the ocean, and then all of a sudden you're right on top of it, like, it's just like, holy cow, and they hit the deck, and it feels like you're trying to throw a penny into it's like you're 1,000 feet in the air trying to throw a penny into a pop can. That's what it looks like. And I was just watching. I wasn't even doing it. I would have killed everybody on that plane. So let's hope neither of us have to land the plane. How about
Let's
that?
hope not. Yeah, that'd be great.
But it's like starting your mural projects. I know the bigger the project, small pieces of paper or even small canvases, I'm never nervous about those, because just get another piece of paper. You know what I mean? But when you work big, you are landing a plane. You know what I mean? Because it's a journey. You don't there's always white paint, but you just prefer not to have to paint over stuff white, you know? So
Yeah. But there's also processes, and, you know, after doing it so many times on my end, like, there's a flow and a process that I know that will create a successful painting, and I'm sure it's the same way for you and your drawings. Like, after doing 10,000 of them, like, you know, like, I'm sure, like, are there things that you would say are critical to a drawing that you do being successful? Like, are there certain parameters that if you check those boxes, no matter how they look or whatever, it will be successful?
Yeah, and it's just simple things, like, because I have done over 20,000, in 3.5 years of live streaming. Easily 20,000. And yeah, and so, and I can say, I can't tell you what it has to be successful. I can tell you what it's not. And it's maybe 5 in 20,000. I looked at it and I'm midstream and I did something that smashed a letter too tight onto something. I didn't space my Leah. Let's say Brooklyn with 2 N's and 3 Y's and 4 O's. I'm like, okay, I got the waves and the bird in there, and Brooklyn's just never gonna work. It's just not gonna work. And integrity says that even though they're probably not gonna buy it, I'll just take it down and start over.
Yeah.
So every now and then but I think when I think about what you do and bigger projects, there is a sense of just autocorrect going along the whole way, adjusting. Not that one thing is going to be wrong, but that the other things that's what I kind of tell people too, is like, I don't have a plan for how everything's going to be. I just know if I make the baby crocodile as good as I can, then I just build on him, So I'm not I draw on oversized paper so that orders can be trimmed down and centered. So I got that going.
Cool.
So I got that going for me, which is huge.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not worried about it. They see it and no one even questions, but like if I were to stand back and look, it might be a little bit too high right, but it's not, because I'm going to trim off 3 inches at the bottom and 1 at the top, that kind of a thing. So
nice. See, all right.
It's a system.
Yep.
It's a system. It is.
This is what you learn after 20,000 drawings.
Yeah, it is. And it's so funny. I was talking to someone. I don't know if let me know if there's something in your life that you can specifically point a finger to. I can't think of it, but no matter your career, your occupation, you never stop learning. Like, it could be as simple for me. Man, I had something huge come up the other day where it's just like maybe this wasn't it, but maybe it's just a change of paper. Or, well, your example. This is not a big part of my routine, but I did have a bunch of loose canvas that was unprimed that, I don't know, I've done a couple dozen, maybe I've done 30 canvases, loose, shipped, a lot of Europe stuff, they tend to be open to understanding that they need to get it framed and, stretched. Early on, I had done quite a few of those, and but it's been 3.5 years. You turned me on to this, and I'm like, I didn't know that existed, so it's huge.
Heck yeah. We're always, there's like lessons all around. I'm doing this collaborative mural project right now. There's 2 other artists, and it's cool bringing our different approaches together, because like one of the artists is more on the new side. She does a lot of stuff on Windows, and then the other artist has been doing this for 25 years. So she's got her styles and flows and brushes and paints and everything that she uses, and we're all just kind of like figuring out and talking about the ideal ways to do things, and we're learning from each other. And I feel like if you're open to learning in general, like there's just so much, the universe is going to keep on giving you things to learn. Like you're going to bump into things left and right.
Okay, keep going on that, because specifically we just talked about my friends and I talked about music and how a guitarist, a band really can create something. It's almost like they need each other.
Yeah.
A band really needs each other to have that sound, and synergy happens, and Pearl Jam's going to sound different than Eddie Vedder's solo albums. Okay.
Yeah.
But in a film needs a cinematographer and a writer and a director. Okay. Create this awesome. But if you're writing a book or you're painting a painting, we got stuck on figuring out how can you be collaborative. So in this project, how do you collaborate when people really have a different, your styles can be different than someone else's style, these other two. How do you guys collaborate to make something that's better? It doesn't need to be better than what you would do on your own, but something that surprises you that you guys all love.
Yeah. It has been a challenge. We have, like, early on, we ran into some bumps in the road in terms of how to collaborate, and how to not like encroach on each other's work and how to be respectful to each other's marks and time and energy into different things. So we kind of had to like figure out who was going to play the bass, who was going to play the guitar, and who was going to be the drummer.
Yeah.
And through that process, we had a lot of, there were some hurt feelings. We had to communicate. We had different meetings in person. We had meetings on the phone to really like flush out what's going on and how we were going to do our thing. And we had to identify each other's strengths and then figure out how we were going to create art that is going to feature each of our strengths and not like encroach on each other. So it's been, and now we've gotten into a flow. The last 2 weeks have been really awesome. And it seems like we've really like hit a groove together, almost like a band, I'm sure there's like, gotta kind of like figure out who, you don't want the bass and the guitar playing over each other and like, messing it up. So it's been
I asked
challenging.
because I was in a mural festival called the We Festival where they put two artists together, and a majority, let's say there were 6 teams of 2, and most of the teams, one team split their wall, one got that side of the wall, they split the wall. The other, so it wasn't a collaboration, it was just you take that side. So another team did like, they were all about patterns. So someone painted a samurai warrior very, in their style, exactly how they would. And then the other person just painted all these patterns around. You can picture that, right? Some cool background. But the only team that really blew my mind were the most talented muralists. And they were super realistic. They could do and they did like a Jimi Hendrix tribute one. And they mapped out and doodle gridded their sketch up on the wall, and dude's blasting out the guitar and the other guy's blasting out his face, and that was a pretty impressive collab. But they both had the same pretty solid realistic style, so it worked well.
Which, I mean, realism can definitely be impressive and feel awesome, but like there's so much that can also feel that way that's not that way. I feel like there's this game that I like to play with people, and it's like on the iPad, and it's basically just, I call it ping pong, but it's just taking turns doing art and like taking turns going back and forth and making moves, and it always is unique, and it's always original, and it's really cool and fun. And I mean, in this moment, I'm thinking like it'd be fun to play that game with you on like a 5x5 canvas and just see where it goes. Because like, if you're gonna do a collaboration, I feel like you want it to intermix and mingle, and like when people that are just splitting, you take left, you take right. That's like you said, that's not a collaboration. No, that's splitting, and you do you, I do me. But like a collaboration, again, it blends styles, and like the most successful collaborations feature each party in the best light, and I mean, we've been talking about doing a collaboration for a little bit now, and I think that might be the way to do it.
Yeah.
And of course, we're going to want to do it as a live stream on your TikTok channel.
I used to do something with my daughter when she was young, like maybe single digits, maybe early double digits. I would draw 5 lines, and then she would make something out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it was just lines, and then she would add lines, or she would do lines, and then I would add lines. But just, she'd make an effort, and then I'd make an effort, and that was our picture. So But speaking of live stream, I probably should wrap up pretty soon so I can go, because I got one more live tonight. And I try not to start too late past 8, because then old man gets tired.
No, jump on it. There we go. Well, thanks for being on the podcast. Definitely appreciate your time and energy. And
Well, I
we'll
appreciate
be putting this
too.
out soon.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because I remember when I just come off a live stream, and when we started, as Gordon says, Kenton, you're coming in hot. I come in, woo! And now you're asking, I'm getting ready to go on a live stream. Some of the best live streams are the ones I'm tired and I don't want to go live. That's probably going to be the best live stream. So hopefully here's to that. Well, Taylor, thank you so much for taking the time to talk. It's a good time.
Yeah, agreed.
Well,
all right.
I'm not going to be, I might be there this Friday. I thought tomorrow was Friday. That's what my schedule's like right now. I might be there Friday, I might not, but we will talk
Monday,
soon.
everybody.
Oh, it's Monday. I know.
All right, cool. Well, I'll be seeing you in the future.
Okay, thanks.
All right, cheers. Thanks for tuning in. If this spoke to your journey, spread the word, follow the pod, and keep chasing what lights you up.